Hey everybody, Nick Morgasen here, co-host of Empty the Bench here on the Empty the Bench podcast network. As we wait for some people to join us, as we got some massive breaking news out of the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis and Max Christie and a 2029 first-round pick. When I saw this, I was like, whoa, there's no way this can be real. But Shams Charania, the best NBA insider in all of the NBA and all of media, has officially confirmed the news. And he quote tweets this exact tweet that you're seeing here on the screen. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. And Shams quote tweets this and says, yes, this is real. Sources tell ESPN. Full trade. Lakers, Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris. Mavericks, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 LA first-round pick. And the Jazz get Jalen Hood-Schifino, a 2025 Clippers second-rounder, and a 2025 Mavericks second-rounder. This is not the trade that I was expecting. I know we're coming up on NBA trade deadline times, but did anyone expect Luka Doncic to be traded? Did anyone think that there was problems going on in Dallas? And I appreciate everyone who's watching right now. Please drop your comments in here on the live stream, and I will read and I will answer questions as they come in. But that's pretty funny. Trade of the game. Yes, I agree. Totally. But this is unbelievable. I thought Luka was doing pretty well in Dallas. I know he's had injuries. I know he's been toughing it out. Sometimes his work ethic is put into question, whether he's trying really hard in Dallas. And also on the other side of things, LeBron James was looking for another star to team up with the Lakers. Now, don't get me wrong. When Anthony Davis was originally traded for, it was a good duo. But Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. Ironically, getting hurt again and missing games. And that was part of the deal that didn't make 100% sense to me. Because when someone's injured, they have to get medical clearance. So I guess they got the medical clearance. All right. Time for MVP for Luka. I don't know about that. Let's pump the brakes on that one. But with Anthony Davis being hurt, the Lakers, a.k.a. LeBron James, could not really worry, or I shouldn't say worry, rely on Anthony Davis to be a number two. It just was not working. So this is full desperation mode right now for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I can't wait for Stephen A., who probably has already gone on social media. I'm looking it up on Twitter as we speak to see if he did one of his stupid Dallas Cowboy type videos to see if he's had any reaction to this. Yep, and he has. 10 minutes ago on his Twitter account, it's a video of him and Mike Wilbon being shocked. What is there to be shocked about? Oh, I mean, yes, the trade is shocking. No doubt in my mind. This trade is shocking. I get it. But I think it was time. Do you think that in the next 5 years, the Mavericks are going to trade Davis? I mean, he's signed. The deal that he signed with the Lakers is through 2028. At least, and I have to look it up again just to make sure I have those numbers clerically correct. I'm looking that up right now. But let me see if I can find his contract. I use a website called Spot Track to track these deals, and I'll tell you in a second. It looks like he's signed through the next 2 to 3 years. If my computer would pull up his salary, we'll get that in a minute. But That's going to be interesting to see how long he stays with Dallas. I don't have an answer for you on that one. But he's an injury risk. That's the big issue we're having right now. So you're picking up an injured player who can't stay on the court consistently, and you trade Luka Doncic away? That's what I don't get. Yeah, so technically he's signed through the 27-28 season. He's making $43 million this year. He's making $57 million next year. And in 26-27, $62 million, and 27-28, almost $67 million. So this is confusing. I'm scratching my head because Anthony Davis can be a good number two, but if he's not healthy, how does he help the Dallas Mavericks? That's what I don't get. Somebody, if there's any Dallas fans out there, I want to hear if you are confident in this move, trading Luka away for Anthony Davis and a bunch of moving parts. All right, that's pretty funny. Bro's going to be the next Elon Musk. But a lot of reactions are coming in across social media. I'm just trying to find everything. Chris Haynes, it's a blockbuster move. This is a blockbuster move. And they had to get two other teams in the Jazz. And who was the other team? It was the Jazz and the Mavericks. Well, they had to get the Jazz in to make this deal work. Otherwise, it just was not going to work. That was the biggest issue. It probably has to do with the salary and the aprons. That's why it didn't really work. We need fun LeBron's opinion about it. Yes, we do. I'm curious to hear after they just came off of beating the Knicks in convincing fashion, by the way. And now we get this. All right, so Shams just tweeted this out about 3 minutes ago as I'm pulling this up now. The Mavericks approached the Lakers recently and offered Luka Doncic. Sources tell ESPN, Lakers brass met and believe the 25-year-old Doncic has the ability to be the face of their franchise for the next decade while giving Anthony Davis a win-now move in Dallas. So that really tells you their thoughts on Luka. Now, that's a lot. That's bagging a lot, saying that Luka's going to be the face of the franchise for the next decade. The guy can't stay healthy. The guy can't stay healthy on the court. This is insane. Now, I get why the Lakers traded Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis can't stay healthy if his life depended on it. He can't. If there are any Lakers fans and by the way, I appreciate all the people who are watching right now. It's very much appreciated. Is there any Lakers fans out there who think Luka Doncic is going to be the next franchise player? What about Bryce? No. But I don't know. This is just shocking. Shocking. At the time of day, as NBA games were still going on. That's another thing. But for the Mavericks to approach the Lakers and just offer away Luka Doncic, who's been a really a top-notch star player, and getting Anthony Davis back in return, I don't think that adds up. If that, my first opinion, shockingly, as I'm looking at this. Excuse me. I'm trying to find the rest of the parts of the deal just to make sense of it. So I guess Dallas had to include Cleveland Morris just for money purposes. That's probably what they were doing there. Yes, that's not me. I'm not saying he's the face of the franchise for a good 5 years. That's what Shams is saying that the Lakers are saying. But Luka's not healthy enough and not staying on the court enough to be a face of the franchise. This guy's got injury issues. He's got attitude issues. This guy would more tank a franchise than I guess, being the star and the face of the franchise. I mean, I get it. And whenever LeBron is the head of a franchise, because in my opinion, any team that LeBron is on, he is the star player, he is the GM, he's the owner, he's the commissioner of the NBA, if you really want to throw that out there too. I'm totally kidding, by the way. But we all know LeBron was the mastermind behind this trade. Let's not fool ourselves, everybody. LeBron will do anything at this point at the age of 40 to win a championship. Now, the Lakers are not going to win a title this year. Let's not fool ourselves on that front. Luka is not going to be enough with LeBron to win a title. Now you don't have a big man. As much as Anthony Davis got hurt, Anthony Davis was a 15 to 20 rebound a game guy. Who is your rebound guy on this team? It's a much younger team that needs to develop. Everyone thought the Lakers were really a developed team anyway. Now, all of a sudden, they're a desperate team that's trying to make a run? Who's the next franchise? Who is the next? Are you saying who's the next franchise player? Is that what you're asking? If you're asking that, I don't know. It's a good question. The Lakers right now are, in my opinion, the Lakers were in rebuild mode. They were and are. They had a bunch of veteran players mixed with some young players. Oh, who's next? Who's next via trade? That I don't know. That I don't have the answer to right now. But if they were willing to make this type of trade, a huge, huge trade to get Luka Doncic, who knows what how desperate the Lakers are? Unless they have some kind of inkling that LeBron James is going to retire after the year. That's the only reason you would make a desperation move. Because if you're trying to save face to go to the playoffs, which is what it sounds like, then this is the type of move. Yes, they do have a lot of guards. That's a good point. But I guess they're looking at star quality, Live 5. At least that's what I'm thinking. That's the only thing I can think of. Hey, can you explain why the Mavs would trade their cornerstone franchise player? Probably because they don't trust him to be a franchise player. I'm not saying that to be obnoxious towards you. I'm just saying I don't think that he is a franchise player. I don't think he's a star and he's a really good player. That's a fact. But I think the Dallas Mavericks are learning that this guy is not a leader. He just can't be a leader. And they needed to do something to get value back in return before they lost him for nothing. So that's why I think they traded him away. Now, I'm going to keep saying this a million times, that Anthony Davis is definitely not the answer. That is about as short-term of a move as they can make. But he's under contract until the 27-28 season. So you're stuck on the hook with that money now. So I guess that's the best way I can really explain why they traded their cornerstone player. I'm trying to get more alerts from social media, but let's see and more comments coming in. I can't believe this. I never expected a move like this. This is the most surprising trade of all time. Well, I don't know if I'd say this is the most surprising trade of all time. Is it shocking? Yes, it is very shocking. Because everyone kept saying, oh, it's LeBron and AD to the end. Well, apparently it's not LeBron and AD to the end. Because apparently LeBron, the GM, the owner, not the player, the GM and the owner, decided, I can't do anything anymore with Anthony Davis. And let's just bring in Luka Doncic, who probably needed a change of scenery anyway, because in my opinion, it was not really working with the Dallas Mavericks. And they had a chance last year. They really had a huge chance last year. But then Luka got hurt. And that was the end of their chances. We need to have a conversation with the Dallas head coach. Oh, man. I like Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd is one of my favorite players of all time. Has he been the best coach? Not necessarily. But that's one of those things that's out of the coach's hand. That's more in the ownership hand than the coach's hand. And the players have control over everything. Do you think Shams was hacked? No. Shams was definitely not hacked. It was confirmed by Shams from his real verified account. I know what you're saying, because with Twitter and the way Elon changed it, you can now pay for verification. No. This is actually Shams' account. I'm looking at Shams' account on Twitter right now, and he confirmed it himself that this trade is official, and it has happened. So we can take all the conspiracy theories off the table. So this trade is pretty much done. Or done. It's really more done, not pretty much done. So what's next for the Lakers? That's going to be the thing. No, I mean, when it was first tweeted, you just... I kind of reserve judgment, to be honest, because when he tweets stuff out, he's usually 99.9% correct. And 0.1% of the time, he is either misconstrued something in one of his sources or something like that. But I honestly reserved judgment and waited for a second and third source, which I got from other ESPN sources and some other NBA sources. So the way I see it also is I worked in talk radio before, and I always use 3 sources to corral everything. So that's why I waited. Ah, my guys. Here we go. Hey, Grant. Hey, Jack. What's going on? How much help does Bron need? He ain't going to reach Jordan. Yes. This one I agree with, Grant. You're 100% right. Grant and Jack, I agree with you 1,000%. They could make all these moves, and they could win a title, which they won't. And it's still not going to cement LeBron as the best player of all time. So, the way I see it, this is a good comment, by the way. And by the way, check out the Bear Claw cast with Grant and Jack. It's a really good podcast on the Chicago Bears. And Grant actually writes for the ETB network, our network. And he also has a piece coming out on our new ETB network Substack. So, which will be dropping officially later today at 7 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. But yeah, I agree with you, Grant and Jack, that it doesn't matter how much help LeBron gets. He's never going to reach Jordan status. I don't care that he is all-time in points. That doesn't make him the all-time best player. It just does not. It absolutely does not. More comments. Some people think Doncic demanded out. I don't know what to think. Here's my thoughts on that. Excuse me. I don't think he demanded out, but Luka has no leverage at all. So I feel like it doesn't really matter if he wanted out or not. The Lakers were the more desperate team in this scenario. So I don't think this has anything to do with whether Doncic wanted out or if he was injured or if they needed a change of scenery. This more had to do with the Lakers. And if the Mavs were willing to put him up for trade, that was because they were trying to either rebuild, which is what I'm trying to figure out here. If that's what is this move like signaling the white flag? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, are they waving the flag and saying, okay, we're going to trade Luka Doncic and we're just going to move on? I have no idea. I'm a big NBA fan and know a lot of sources through the NBA, but I couldn't tell you if the Mavericks were trying to blow this up Or do they really think that Anthony Davis is going to help this team, which I just don't see that happening. Zan, who I was just doing some work with, actually. Nick, I thought this was 1,000% fake. What would this mean in NFL terms, in your opinion? One, that it's a huge trade, number one. Number two, if you want me to make an NFL comparison to it, Shams is like Adam Schefter, which both work for the same company. When they break huge news, they're 99.9% of the time right. So when I first saw it, because someone asked me this before and said, what was your reaction when you saw it? I said, I reserve judgment until I get 3 sources. So once 3 sources that I trust confirm the story, that's when I knew the story was accurate. Now, I won't lie, and I'll say that when you look at it and you say, but I don't, let me put it this way. For people who were watching it and saw the tweet or saw the posts go out, I don't blame you if you thought that that was fake. Because no one thinks that Luka Doncic is getting traded for Anthony Davis. Plain and simple. That's why, after the fact, once I had it confirmed, I was confused when the trade got confirmed. Because, first of all, it's a lopsided trade. Bobby Marks, who just dropped an important piece of information. He's a NBA front office insider for ESPN. There are major financial implications for Luka Doncic with the trade. He was in line to receive a 5-year, $345 million contract this summer. Doncic is no longer Supermax eligible. So, how desperate was the Dallas Mavericks to get out from under Luka Doncic? That's the question here, everybody. And for everyone who's watching in the comments, let me know your thoughts on what you think about this trade. Do you like the trade? Do you not like the trade? Are you confused by the trade? Do you think this is going to affect the NBA trade deadline, which is coming up soon? I'm looking up that date really quick because I don't remember. Okay, so it's February 6th. It's officially 4 days. If you're on the East Coast, it is 4 days from now. So Thursday, February 6th, the trade deadline is coming up. There is going to be a ton of moves coming. There's even rumors that De'Aaron Fox and Jimmy Butler was already on the block. But De'Aaron Fox from the Kings, also on the block. But nobody, and if anyone says to me that they weren't surprised that Luka Doncic was going to be traded, I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. I dare someone in the chat right now to say to me that they expected Luka Doncic to be traded, because it's wrong. It was not going to happen. And no one expected it. I didn't think Anthony Davis's contract was tradable at all. Again, I'll give you the numbers since I'm looking at his salary. This year, $43 million. 25-26, 57. 26-27, $62 million. 27-28, $66 million. He is owed a shitload of money for the next 4 years. And now the Mavs have to take on all that money. More comments. I think this is a worse trade for the Mavericks because they screwed themselves. Yes, Michael Cava, I agree with you. 1,000,000% agree with you. And Anthony Davis over Luka Doncic, it's not even a competition. Luka Doncic would have been a headache and had his injuries, and you have to deal with his attitude and moronic issues. But you would have gotten 8 to 10 years, possibly, I would say closer to 7 or 8 years of a franchise player. Anthony Davis should be lucky if you get another 2 or 3. And that's going to be an expensive player to pay. And I'll give you another example that's across the NBA right now. Joel Embiid, who got a huge contract. And he's not even playing half the games. He's playing every other day. And you're overpaying that guy to sit on the bench every other day. So don't tell me that Anthony Davis is going to be an answer in Dallas. No wonder Mark Cuban sold most of his ownership percentage for the Dallas Mavericks. He obviously knew that the timing was up and over. So I don't want to hear any of that. Zan, what do you got? John Jones getting traded to the PFL for Jake. Yes. Actually, this is a pretty good comparison. Actually. Because it's two big stars. And yes, I would consider Anthony Davis a star, not an A+ star, more of a B+, B- star. Trading places. Now, I don't know if it's PFL to UFC because you're talking about two different organizations. This is not technically two different brand organizations, but I understand what you mean. That this is a massive deal that no one expected. The Mavericks just tweeted something saying they traded for Davis because they believe defense wins. Oh, that's funny. That's funny if that was true. Oh, Michael Cobb, that was good. More reactions coming in. Ramona Shelburne, who covers the NBA for ESPN, wrapping my head around this with everyone else. But the biggest thing to know is the Lakers have been led by generational superstars through their history, and this was the opportunity too good for them to pass up after the Mavericks called. Also worth noting, Mavs GM Nico Harrison worked closely with Kobe Bryant through his career, and Lakers GM Rob Pelinka was obviously his agent. Okay. It's weird, some of the reactions that some of these NBA media reporters are making. Almost like they were expecting this trade to happen. Thank you, Zan. But this trade makes no sense. It makes no sense. I'm waiting for someone in the comments to explain to me how this makes sense as a trade. Somebody. Anyone who's an NBA fan who thinks logically. This makes no sense. Zero. Unless the Lakers were looking to make a splash, which is what they for sure did. Now, how is the rest of the NBA trade deadline going to shake up? Because you move Luka out of Dallas to LA. And I'm kind of surprised they broke up that Luka and Kyrie duo. I kind of like them playing together, believe it or not. And trust me, I know all about Kyrie Irving because I am a Brooklyn Nets fan in the Long Island area. So I totally get the whole Kyrie Irving. Everyone's going to say, oh, well, they broke them up because Kyrie Irving's a headache and Luka Doncic is a headache. The two of them actually played halfway decently when they were healthy on the court. The problem is they were not always healthy on the court together. So that's another issue in itself. So that Dallas has some questions now that they traded their franchise player away. And I don't know. I really don't know. I guess it makes a little sense for the Lakers because they believe Luka could be their cornerstone franchise. Again, and I understand why people are saying, and including ESPN NBA reporters who are saying that Luka could be a cornerstone franchise player. But if you look at his time in Dallas, he's always getting hurt. He acts, I don't know what the best way to say it. Yeah, he's not mature. Sometimes he doesn't act appropriately. That's not a franchise player. It's not a franchise player. And now you're going to go to LA, biggest market, that New York. But Los Angeles, big market, big stage, get all the advertisements, make all the money. And can he handle the big stage? That's the question I have. So I don't know. Now I'm seeing reports that, according to Chris Haynes, Anthony Davis is waiving his trade kicker. which that's just a contractual thing. And according to David McMenamin, who covers the Lakers and is an NBA reporter for ESPN, LeBron James learned of the Davis Doncic trade after the Knicks game when it broke while he was out to dinner with his family. James was surprised by the news, is processing it, and had no idea that was in the works. Come on, LeBron, are you kidding me? You're going to lie and you're going to tell me that you had no idea that the trade was in the works? Really? You're going to lie. LeBron, you're lying right now if you didn't know that trade was going on. That is the biggest load of horseshit I've ever heard in my life. You're not going to tell me, LeBron, that didn't happen. You're just not. That's the most ridiculous thing. Come on. He's saying he didn't learn about the trade until after, when he was out to dinner. That's bullshit. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Got everyone in the comments right now. If you believe that LeBron figured this trade was coming, was shocked by this trade news, tell me right now in the comments. Because that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I get that David McMenamin, by the way, is also a factual and really good ESPN NBA reporter. So obviously his sources are 99.9% correct also. And maybe that's what he heard from the LeBron James camp. But it's a complete lie. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that he's just going to act all oblivious and say that he didn't know. But I don't know. More comments. As long as he stays in the Western Conference, because I'm a Knicks fan. Well, you know what? I can get that too. At least your Knicks are better than my Nets, Michael. I'll give you that. My Nets have a lot of work to do after all that mess they put up with KD and Kyrie and rebuilding the team. But it is what it is. I will say he's lying because I hate LeBron as a Knicks fan. That one, that's honesty right there. That's true honesty. But if you're just joining us, again, here it is. Breaking per Shams Charania. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, a 2029 first-round pick. The whole social media world, the whole world is completely shocked by this trade, including myself. And again, I reserved judgment until there were 3 to 4 NBA credible sources that had the information properly. I didn't jump to conclusion on all this. But this changes the game. This changes everything. And it changes how the NBA trade deadline is going to be put together. I've never seen a trade like this in season. No, I don't agree with that 100%. You're always going to get one huge trade every year, which changes the landscape because you get a desperate team who needs help. You just do. So I understand where you're coming from, Michael, but you're always going to get one interesting trade for a desperate team that is trying to save its season from being completely over. More tweets coming in from the NBA world. David Aldridge, who used to be a sideline reporter for the NBA on TNT and was an NBA insider. I've been covering the NBA for 37 years. Almost nothing that happens, deals, free agent signings, coach firings, rises to the level of, as the great Ben Bradley used to call them, holy shit stories. You just get used to the unexpected. This is a holy shit story. Yeah, well, I agree with David Aldridge on that one. This is a holy shit story because no one expected Luka to be traded at all. You usually don't see gigantic stars get traded. You just don't. and I'm seeing tweets from other NBA players coming out right now as I'm scrolling through Twitter. And if you want to follow us at ETB Network, at ETB Sports for more live streams and stuff that we do. Jalen Brunson tweeted about 46 minutes ago, April Fools, right? No, Jalen, this is not April Fools. It's not. It's real. And Tristan Thompson, who is, I still think, currently in the NBA right now, I think for the Cavs, Luka getting traded from Dallas has to have a deeper story behind it. This just doesn't happen on a random Saturday night. Okay, Tristan, I agree with you that it doesn't happen randomly. Is there a deeper story behind it? Like I said before, yes. But it's like I said earlier, the injuries, I think that was not going to hold up as a cornerstone player. Also, they probably traded him because, like I said earlier from the reports, he was up for a Supermax 5 years, $345 million. So that makes total sense. If they were looking to get out from a contractual standpoint, then maybe it did make sense to make the trade. More comments. I didn't hear any news about the Mavericks being frustrated with Luka this season. Why would they admit that? I don't think they would ever admit that. I mean, he's just a frustrating player across all NBA circles and all NBA GMs. He's got a lot of talent, a ton of talent. He could be a top 5 to top 3 player in the NBA based on his talent alone. But I think his ego and his physical game are going to hold him back. That's really just the way it is. So I don't really know what this move signals. So actually, this is a good question. How does LeBron always get whatever he wants? Again, I'll repeat it. And again, I'm not insulting anybody by saying this. LeBron is the GM. He is the owner. He's the peanut vendor inside of Crypto.com arena. He's the marketing genius. Not calling him a genius, just saying the marketer. LeBron is the owner of the Lakers, even though the Buss family is technically the owners of the Lakers. But LeBron is in control of every move that goes through the organization. That's why I told you it was the biggest load of horse shit that he claims he had no idea the trade was coming. Because it's a lie. Of course he knew it was coming. But LeBron will get whatever he wants because he's the biggest name in the NBA. Even at the age of 40, the guy had a 33-point triple-double. And I think there was a stat that went around on NBA's Twitter account after the game that he's the first age 40 player to have 2 triple-doubles of that stature. The guy's a physical specimen. I'm not going to deny him of that. But does Luka really give them a chance to win a title? I don't think so. Because the guy can't stay healthy. It's just a fact. Oh, now I'm seeing a... Let me make sure I get this right. I'm trying to confirm it as I'm looking at the information. Here we go. According to Tim McMahon, who is an NBA writer for ESPN, has covered the Mavericks over the time. The Mavs had concerns. This was about 12:31 a.m. Eastern time. The Mavs had major concerns about moving forward with Luka Doncic due to his constant conditioning issues and the looming commitment of another Supermax contract extension. This is what I was talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So, obviously, they had issues with his condition. And that just proved it right there. So, they were concerned about his injuries, which included the last playoff run. That's why they didn't win. And they were worried about the 5-year, $345 million Supermax contract extension. This is an interesting comment. LeBron has a minus 121 plus minus for the season, and the Lakers just traded their best defensive player. Okay, I'm going to answer this one with logic because most people don't answer or don't think with logic. The reason they traded Anthony Davis is because he's injured, and that's plain and simple. That's why they traded Anthony Davis. I'm not saying they got better. Let me be very clear about that. They didn't get better. And Luka Doncic is a name. Don't get me wrong. He is a star. He will definitely help with offense, but this team is definitely not going to play any defense going forward. They are going to they're going to be on the struggle bus to defense. Excuse me, with Luka being on the court, because Luka doesn't play any defense. None. Zero. I know he tried in the NBA Finals last year, but it was a desperate attempt at defense. Think about it as James Harden when he was with the 76ers or with the OKC Thunder. The guy didn't play an ounce of defense. He's playing much better defense now with the Clippers, and he's found a home in LA. But they don't play defense. Most of the big names don't play defense. The big stars don't play defense. So this is valid. But this comment right here, say LeBron has a minus 121 plus minus for the season, and the Lakers traded their best defensive player. I get it. Excuse me. But the Lakers are more concerned about offense than they are about trying to field a consistent team. Because what happens if Luka has one jarring injury, which puts him out for the rest of the year? What do you do then? You're screwed if he gets hurt and misses the rest of the year. There's no Anthony Davis coming to the rescue at that point. So it's jarring the way this news is, but Tim McMahon got the honesty out of the Mavericks. And I'll read it again. According to Tim McMahon of ESPN, the Mavs had major concerns about moving forward with Luka Doncic due to his constant conditioning issues and the looming commitment of another Supermax contract extension this summer. Plain and simple. They had an issue with his health, and they did not want to pay him. That's about as honest as it gets from the Dallas Mavericks. They didn't sugarcoat it. They didn't lie about it. And there you go. So, and now I'm seeing, I don't know if this source is accurate or not. According to Brett Siegel, a National NBA Insider reporter for Clutch Points, early word on all of this. Apparently a rift had been forming between Anthony Davis and the Lakers management, especially after his sit-down interview with ESPN. This trade just came together in the last few hours with nobody around the league knowing about it. Now, I don't know if that's true. I have no sources confirming on that, so I'll take that one with a grain of salt because I don't really know. But if they had a problem with Anthony Davis doing the sit-down interview, don't let him sit and do the interview then. You have the right to refuse interviews. The team could have refused the interview. Then why trade for another player who has health insurance? Okay, again, let me say this again. I'm not saying the trade is helping the Lakers. Let me be very clear about that. I'm just telling you from the Lakers' point of view, LeBron desperately wanted another star player, a younger star player. But when you look at this, and this is going to sound kind of ironic, but Luka Doncic is kind of turning to an Anthony Davis, not from a big man type of player. I'm talking about from the standpoint of a lot of talent as a young player, a lot of injuries becoming a lot. It kind of holds back their games, and it doesn't take them to that star status. Oh, you're talking about from the Mavs perspective? Okay. Why would they trade for Anthony Davis? I don't know. That's a good question, actually. Why would they trade for Anthony Davis? I think the Mavericks are blowing it up. I don't think they're going to admit it. They think that getting out from under Luka's contract or potential contract in the offseason is probably the reason. But if he's a really good player, he's going to command a lot of money. So I guess they felt that he was not worth the Supermax 5 years, $345 million, which, if you want my opinion, he's not worth $345 million. He's just not. He has not done enough on the court to prove that he is a Supermax type of player. So I think the Mavs actually made the right move trading him, but I don't know if the Lakers, that's the team that's the whole shocking thing in this scenario. That the Lakers were willing to just part with Anthony Davis as quick as they did. Now, I was an Anthony Davis fan back in the Pelicans days. He was a really good player, but I knew the injuries were going to affect him in the long run. And we're seeing now what happened. And I'm still not buying. And now, like, ESPN is dropping all the videos saying the deal materialized in the shadows. LeBron James had no idea this was coming. Anthony Davis had no idea this was coming. I'm told Luka Doncic is still stunned about this trade, according to Shams. See, I'm not buying this. Everyone's going to say they had no idea. Come on, we know the guys talk, right? So we're really going to act like this is a surprise and we had no idea? Well, not us as digital media. But you're going to tell me that these guys had no idea the trade was coming? Like, they're going to lie to us and say they had no idea? Come on, guys. Like, we're really going to play stupid? According to Mark Stein, and Mark Stein is a very smart NBA insider who now writes for his own Substack. Let's see. Luka Doncic did not request a trade, according to league sources. The Mavericks did this on their own accord, getting back Anthony Davis, but only one future first-round pick for the Lakers in 2029 for a 25-year-old regarded as a future MVP. But Luka Doncic did not request a trade. So, and about 55 minutes ago, Doncic has been informed of the trade, which was agreed upon late Saturday, and immediately ranks as one of the most stunning trade thunderbolts in NBA history. So wait a minute. Hold the phone. Time out. So this trade was agreed upon supposedly Saturday night. So this trade was already in talks. So I don't want to hear that anybody didn't know. I'm not buying that. Is anyone else buying that they think that this trade just got thrown together while they were all playing? And that Anthony Davis was just sitting out because he was going to be traded? Come on, guys. We're not that stupid. We're not that stupid. Allegedly, Luka was sitting out because he was beefing with Kyrie. Again, I have no confirmation of that. So it's kind of hard to run with that they were beefing unless we have sources telling us that that's true. So I don't want to run with that because I have no idea. But according to Mark Stein also, Luka Doncic was targeting a February 8th return from his calf strain. Sources say, but long-term concerns about conditioning are said to have factored into Dallas' shocking change of course. Now, Anthony Davis will partner with Kyrie Irving, and the Lakers have their heir to LeBron James. Sources trust me. Yeah, okay. That doesn't mean anything. You could say sources and say trust me. That doesn't mean anything. Unless you have real public sources that tell you that, I can't go with that. But it's shocking the NBA community that this trade has gone down. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen, because how does this affect some of the other moves that could potentially go down? And I'm seeing a bunch of other situations. I see players who are tweeting out about this trade. Jalen Brunson, holy shit, which I said before. Tyler Hero, what the fuck? Or WTF. Alex Caruso, nah, Sham's got to be hacked. Tyrese Maxey, huh? Josh Hart, huh? And Joel Embiid, wow, no F way. So everyone's acting shocked. I'm not shocked. So I'm like lost for words partially. I've been talking about this for almost an hour because there's so many layers to this story. And I'm trying to figure out what the exact logic is and what the exact logic of this deal proceeds. And I just don't know. I really don't. Here's another thing from Tim McMahon. I believe that defense wins championships. Mavs GM Nico Harris told ESPN regarding his motivation to trade Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. I believe that getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now. And come on, guys. Seriously? Seriously? Nico Harrison, the Mavs GM, you're going to say that you made this deal because defense wins championships? What? Come on. Anthony Davis is going to be sitting more on the bench than he is going to be on the floor. And you really think Anthony Davis wants to be in Dallas? That's a complete joke. Come on. The only reason Anthony Davis is in Dallas is because he had no choice. And it's plain and simple. Nico Harrison is speaking out of both sides of his ass right now. I believe defense wins championships. First of all, that sounds like so 20, 30 years ago. You need stars. I'm not saying at every position, but you need 2 or 3 good stars with some defensive prowess to win in this sport. Excuse me. Oh, so I'm all congested. But I just don't know what to say anymore. And the deadline's 4 days away. So what other huge trades are we going to see? What other big moves? Oh, look, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo tweeting out a blue face with a scary looking emoji and earth emoji. Well, what's making me laugh is all these players are acting like they had no idea. You're telling me that there wasn't the possibility of being traded? So I don't know what to say anymore because it's possible. We see more big trades in the NBA than other sports. But the 5-year contract extension in July worth a record $345 million. Like, I understand now what part of the reason why they traded because they didn't want to pay him $345 million. That would have been a record. And he's not worth $345 million. He's just not. I mean, I'm trying to do quick math just to make sure my numbers are correct. That would have been $69 million a year. Anyone who tells me that Luka Doncic is worth $69 million a year is drunk. Just completely drunk if you think he's worth $69 million a year. He's just not. No, first of all, no athlete is worth close to $70 million a year. I don't care who you are. Even LeBron James is not worth $70 million a year. He might bring all that value and all that advertising revenue. But no way is Luka Doncic worth 69 or 70, rounded off $70 million a year. Just not. Like, if I saw that news come out that he signed a 5-year, $345 million deal, I would have laughed. I totally would have laughed. And now you're going to have LeBron and Luka as teammates. That's what's so crazy. And actually, StatMuse, who is an account which I really like, by the way, that comes up with some great statistics. Luka Doncic was traded for 1 first-round pick. Rudy Gobert was traded for 4 first-round picks. Let that sink in for a second. Okay? Luka Doncic was traded for 1 first-round pick, and Rudy Gobert was traded for 4 first-round picks. What does that tell you about value? And Rudy Gobert is a horrible offensive player. I know he's won Defensive Player of the Year multiple times, but not an offensive player by any stretch. So I don't know what to tell you. And I agree with everybody that's in this chat, and I appreciate all the comments that have come through in the chat. Please do me a favor if you're enjoying the chat and you're enjoying this live stream, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network, and we'll do some more of these live streams if everybody likes them. Because I could talk NBA all day till the cows come home. And actually, we just made an announcement for our ETB Network Substack, which is going to be coming too. And myself and Anthony Ballister, who's my co-host on ETB Sports, we're going to be doing a NBA a Substack exclusive on our ETB Network Substack called Alley Oop Analytics. This might be a story we might have to attack because our first one is going to be coming this week. So look out for that. But in the meantime, this is just incredible. And actually, we're seeing some reactions now coming in from Brian Windhorst, who's also an ESPN NBA analyst. This is not about the Lakers, not really about LeBron. It's about the Mavs and Luka Doncic, which is what I said before, by the way. One of the biggest, most stunning trades in the history of the league. My phone's exploded. Basically, a rebuke of Doncic. Mavs saying they don't think they can win with him. Defense, condition, ability to focus on the biggest moments. Luka was locked into the Mavs, and it's the Mavs who are pulling the plug. Only one bidder, as far as we know. They didn't even get the entire package from the Lakers. The Lakers are still holding a first-round pick. LeBron has dreamed of this. So that's coming from Brian Windhorst. ESPN NBA reporter, was on SportsCenter a little while ago. Also, according to Chris Haynes, about 3 minutes ago, Mavericks initiating talks with the Lakers and why a Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis trade was pulled off. So, this is just unbelievable. It's unbelievable news. It's such a weird time for a news dump late Saturday night, early Sunday morning on the East Coast. It's now officially 1:30 a.m. Eastern time on the East Coast. And this story is blowing up social media. And it's going to be all over the sports talk radio, national sports talk radio. This will be all over LA local sports talk radio and Dallas sports talk radio. But I don't think the Lakers are done. No, I don't think they're done. And they didn't have to trade their first round pick. Like, that's why I'm laughing. That they only traded one pick and they'd have to trade the other. So, what's just incredible to me also is everyone is saying in the sources, this deal materialized in the shadows. Wrong, liar, complete bullshit. There's no way this trade materialized in the shadows. There's other sources saying that this was agreed upon on Saturday night. So don't tell me that this materialized in the shadows. Because it didn't. It's a lie. So I don't want to hear shit that this randomly happened during the Laker game at Madison Square Garden in New York City. And all of a sudden a trade just happened to come along. Are you kidding me? So It's just incredible that Dallas just basically said, we're done. We give up. We want nothing more to do with him here. I'm trying to find my my sound here. But like they basically said, we're done. They flushed Luka down the drain, basically. And they just said, all right, we'll take on Anthony Davis. We'll take on some of those other small pieces. And we'll just do our best. We'll do our best to figure out this situation. And the Lakers think they're taking on a star, which they are, but they got to get him healthy and back onto the court. That's the big issue here. I just don't see that happening. I don't see him being that franchise player for the Lakers. He was supposed to be a franchise player for the Mavs. And the Mavs, the Dallas market, is not as big a market as LA. Sorry to inform you about that, everybody. But if he struggled in Dallas and couldn't get that team to go, imagine the amount of pressure is going to be on Luka with LeBron to get that team now to the playoffs and to try and compete for a title, which we all know they're not going to win. So that's the big issue here. And I just don't see how this is possible. Ooh, excuse me. But I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen and how this is all going to shake out. Because I think this is going to be a massive failure of a trade. It's my opinion, my thought. I think Luka's going to go flame and burn in Los Angeles. And I'm sure I'm going to get hit with a bunch of ridiculous comments saying, Nick, you have no idea. Look at his track record in Dallas. He's been out. He's had injuries. He's had attitude problems. I just don't see. And you're sending him to a bigger market. He couldn't perform in the market he was in at all. In my opinion, Luka's not even a top 10 player. At least not right now. I just don't see that. Luka hasn't done enough to prove that he is worth being in the discussion of top 10 players. He's not healthy enough, not playing consistently enough. So you expect him all of a sudden from going to be hurt and trying to get back healthy. Now he's got to get to Los Angeles. Now he's going to play LeBron. No, LeBron will make him a better player. I have no doubt. But you were forgetting something else, everybody, which is Luka's a ball hog and a complete ball hog. And you expect that to change? Now, LeBron obviously will be the number one ball handler, obviously, so he'll touch the ball. But do you think Luka's going to play as a role player behind LeBron James? I don't know. Luka's used to being that guy in charge, having the ball in his hand. Now he's got to learn how to play more off the ball in Los Angeles, which he's not used to doing. Now, are people going to say, well, Kyrie Irving was the point guard and Luka? Well, no. But yes, but it still was mostly Luka getting the touches over Kyrie. So that's why I'm saying now he's going to have to be off the ball dominant. So, and now I'm seeing from Bleacher Report who just dropped that. And by the way, there are 200 people watching the stream right now. I completely appreciate everyone who's watching, and I appreciate everyone who's watching right now. Thank you very much. But apparently LeBron is linking up with his favorite player. And LeBron James tweeted out, Luka, he's my favorite player. All right, LeBron. Are you going to BS everybody and you're just tweeting that out so everybody knows? Seriously? So this is going to be interesting to see how this goes. And will he find a resurgence in Los Angeles? And some of it is ridiculous. Some of it is a lot of hearsay. And Luka is a credible offensive player. But there's a lot to work out. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. We'll have to see what other trades could come through. And will this lead to other big moves that could go down before the NBA trade deadline? I'm not sure. Because you have guys like Jimmy Butler, who I'm not sure if he's going to be traded before the trade deadline. The Miami Heat should. They need to get out from under him, but I don't know who's going to take his contract on. And that's really going to be a rental player. So, do you really want to take on Jimmy Butler as a rental player? I don't know. This is a funny tweet from Paul Pierce. Trade Bron and Bronny back to Cleveland and build around Luka is the only way to save the Lakers. Oh, man. But it's an interesting night in the world of the NBA. And it was definitely worth coming on and talking about it because there was a lot to talk about with this story. And when I look at Luka and I look at his talent is an A+. Where he ranks, he's not an A+. He's definitely not an A+ right now. And unless someone proves that otherwise, unless he proves it otherwise, I don't think he changes. And the Lakers are gonna take a huge chance on them being the next franchise player. And when he gets hurt and can't play, it's going to be a huge waste. Someone tell me otherwise. Excuse me. Oh, my allergies are bad. But I'm seeing more and more reports that Luka did not request a trade. And again, I don't have 100% proof, so I don't know if that's true, false, or indifferent. I have no idea. So it's just a crazy night. It's a crazy time for a trade to happen on a Saturday late into Sunday morning, especially on the weekend when most of the big time sources are off. And most of the big shows that are on during the week are off. So that's pretty much it. And if you see the breaking news here, I'll reiterate one more time. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. And it's sending shockwaves through NBA fans, NBA Twitter, and the community. And we'll have to wait and see what this really does for the NBA. Because there's going to be more moves now, I feel like, because of this massive move. And again, I don't think the Lakers are done. I think the Lakers are going to go out and make one more giant splash. I don't know if it'll be Luka big because they got to watch their cap line and and make sure they don't go over the aprons. But it'll be interesting to see what the Lakers do. And if they go out and make one more gigantic move. Because maybe if they can manage one more gigantic move, maybe they are possible to contend for the playoffs this year. And again, Luka's not healthy 100%. So if Luka comes back healthy, if that's a major if LeBron manages to stay healthy, that's an if, and maybe they go out and they get one more like B-level guy, maybe they have a chance, but they're not going to win a title. That's off the table. There's too many teams that are better than the Los Angeles Lakers. It's just a fact. The Lakers are not going to win a title. They're just not. They're not good enough. But that'll do it for this stream. This long NBA breaking news trade stream. Make sure you follow us on social media at ETB Network. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Please, that would be gladly appreciated. And make sure you check out our Substack, etbnetwork.substack.com. We are officially launching the Substack with our first column being written by Grant Winsauer for Super Bowl week at 7 p.m. Eastern Time later today. So please check it out. Please subscribe. It helps. It is a paywall. It's $5 a month. We're going to have a ton of content behind the paywall. There's going to be an NBA show, Alley-Oop Analytics, with myself and Anthony Ballister. There's going to be some college sports exclusive content behind there. We have a baseball exclusive show that's good, short video series that's going to be behind there. So please help us out. etbnetwork.substack.com. If I can find that quickly, I will throw that up on a banner so you can see that. But we have a ton of content coming, and we are looking forward to it. I tell you, because the NBA is going to be full of moves coming. Here's the banner if you're looking for it. etbnetwork.com, etbnetwork.substack.com. Please subscribe to our Substack. It's $5 a month. There's going to be a ton of content behind that. It is a paywall. I understand. We're not asking for $40, $50 a month. We're asking for $5 a month. And it helps everybody that makes content for our network. So please go and check us out. It's really appreciated. And check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Please subscribe. It helps us as well. And I guess that pretty much will do it. One last time. Dallas Mavericks trade Luka Doncic and pieces to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.